Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. Sorry for the delay. So welcome to the panel discussion on faith and scouting, benefits and challenges. We have in our panel discussion 5 leaders that I will present later. And for this session, we have 2 main objectives. The first one is to identify the benefits and good practices that single faith-based and open associations can bring to promote and supporting the spiritual development of young people. And then the second objective is to identify also the main challenges that we are facing in today's society. So according to the Constitution of WSEC, the purpose of the Scout movement is to contribute to the development of young people in achieving their full potential in terms of physical, intellectual, social, and during this panel we are going to focus on the spiritual potential, the spiritual development. And spiritual and religious development can be described as is connected with the young people's efforts to understand the meaning and causes of the experience of life, and this can be achieved through main 4 reflections on the values that are arising from the activities and the experiences that they are living in the activities, on the nature of human character and existence, on specific religious practices and symbols, and on the transcendental and the metaphysical. So during this time, we are going to try to address all of these 4 topics. So within WSEC, there are several associations that are single faith-based at the same time that we have open associations. So here with us today, we have Malcolm Tam, who is the National Program Commissioner from the Singapore Scout Association. We have Emmanuel Audras, National Program Commissioner, Scout Tanguy de France. I'm sorry for my accent if it's not correct. We'll have Martin Mezzanotte, the Deputy Director of Youth Participation Scouts of Argentina. Noemi Ruzzi, International Commissioner of Italian Scouts Federation from WAGS, and International Commissioner of AGESCI, Association of Catholic Guides and Scouts of Italy. And Mohamed Mostafa, International Commissioner from the Egyptian Federation for Scouts and Girl Guides. So we'll have 4 presentations in English, 1 presentation in French. We'll have the translation over there. Okay, thank you very much. I will give you the end of the microphone. So we will start first with the presentation of Malcolm. So give it to you.
Right, thank you very much. I usually have the unenviable task of speaking either before lunch, when everybody is rushing to go for lunch, or after lunch, where everybody is attempting very hard to wake up, or just after tea, with exactly the same effect. Perhaps I was very evil in the previous life, so this always happens to me. David McKee agrees with me, all right? Right, just to share with you, I was born in Malaysia, but I live in Singapore now. As you can see from that, Singapore is an extremely tiny country. It's all of 700 square kilometers, that's all. And 83% of Singapore is city, urban area. Well, the only more urbanized areas places that I can think of are perhaps Monaco, Luxembourg, and Macau, and Hong Kong, which is where we are. Singapore is a multicultural society with many different kinds of cultures. You have, in this photograph, you can see the Indian culture, Chinese culture, Malay culture, well, and for want of a better term, Western culture. It is a multi-faith nation. You can see the gopuram of a Hindu temple on the left, followed by the minarets of a Muslim mosque, a Chinese Taoist temple, and that's an Armenian church. I'm not sure whether there's anyone from Armenia here, but that's an Armenian church. And there are at least 10 religions in Singapore. Taoism, well, we can look at the list yourself. Taoism, Buddhism, all the way down to Christianity, Islam, Zoroastrianism, Baha'ism, Judaism, well, the whole lot. The majority, well, I wouldn't say it's a majority, a plurality are Buddhists, 33%. And with such a multicultural or multi-culti and multi-religious society, harmony and understanding are paramount. They are most important. Now, how was Scouting based in Singapore originally? Long ago in the past, Singapore had religion-based groups. And the photograph you can see there is a Malay Muslim group from 1990, that was formed in 1919, called the 5th Malay Scout Troop. This photograph was taken in 1927, I believe. It's very old and very valuable photograph. We also used to have church groups and Buddhist groups, but they are less common in Singapore now. Now, for your interest, you may wish to know that the largest scout group in the world is a Buddhist scout group with almost 10,000 members called the Fo Guang Shan Scout Group. It's a franchise group, so to speak, with its headquarters in Taiwan. And I think they have about 4,000 or 5,000 there. They have a few thousand in the States, a few hundred in Canada, and all over the world, but it's all under one group, one scout group. In Singapore, all our scout groups, most of our scout groups are school-based and integrated. And you can, that's my own scout group there. You can see Chinese boys, Chinese girls, an Indian boy, and a Malay boy. And in our program, we always try to have what we call, and what BP calls Scouts Own. We start most activities with a silent prayer to our own God in our own way. We don't push our own religion, but we try to remind our young people of religion. It's so ingrained that we must have respect for each other's religions and beliefs that we have unwritten rules. Pork is pork, the flesh of the pig is taboo to Islam, and the flesh of the cow is taboo to Hindus. So it's a camp rule that we never have pork or beef at camps. We also ensure that at camps we always have a prayer room so that Muslims can pray on Friday afternoons, and the Christians can use it on Sundays, and the Taoists and Buddhists can use it whenever they want. Respect for faith is also built into your youth program at every level. At the Cub Scout section, for example, we have the World Faith Proficiency Badge. In the silver arrow and the gold arrows, it's there as well. And for the Scout section, we require our young people to understand the importance of racial and religious harmony, and to learn not only about their own religion, but it's compulsory for them to learn about someone else's religion as well. The Venture section has similar requirements, as does the Rover section. We are embarking now at National Scout Organization level on a project on dialogue between cultures and religions. But there are many challenges. I can share with you some examples, anecdotal examples, before I move on to empirical examples. Now, I have come across some cases in scout groups that are composed of only one race and one religion. And this is something I pick up from Facebook. My friend, Mr. Tan Sao Sang from Penang, may have heard of this before. And this comes from a commissioner who was walking towards a scout meeting. And he chanced upon a parent who thanked him for scouting and told him, "Scouting has been very, very good for my son. He is now more religious. He is now a better boy." But I was quite surprised when I saw people from other races and other religions. Is this correct? How can scouting do that? I thought scouting is for only our race and our religion. I will not mention which race or religion, but this is one of the challenges of faith-based scouting. If we are too secular, if we are too insular, we may end up teaching the wrong values. So that's why you may have noticed in Singapore, we make it a point to try to ensure that we share other respect and faith for other faiths as well. That's one challenge. Benefits, I don't think I need to say very much about the benefits of faith and scouting. It's part of our scout law, our duty to God, because we believe that we owe allegiance to something or someone higher than us. But let me challenge you with something very interesting. David, ask me to challenge you. I will challenge you with something, and this is something very new. Now, that's a very interesting conundrum. The basic position as scouting is that if you do not have a religion, we still try to teach you to be spiritual and to believe in something greater than just man. However, the latest research from Baylor University, which is a Christian university in the United States, suggests this, that while research generally indicates that young people who espouse a religion and who say they are religious generally commit less crime, it is very interesting that young adults who deem themselves spiritual but not religious apparently have a greater propensity to commit criminal offenses, including theft and violent offenses, as opposed to people who are, well, spiritual and religious, or non-spiritual and non-religious. So it would appear that the happy, clappy kind of, I believe in something, but I don't know what I believe in, is apparently bad for you. This is an empirical study undertaken by this gentleman, very interesting, a Korean gentleman based in America. In this article, I can't really read, is being spiritual enough without being religious? This just came out in June 2013, so you can have a look at the study. I draw no conclusions. I am challenging you. How do we proceed from here with respect to scouting, right? And it appears that, as with many things in life, we cannot sit in the middle. We have to choose one or the other. So that's all I have to say for the time being. If you have difficult questions for me, do raise them, and I will request my colleagues to answer them. Simple questions, give to me. Difficult questions, they can do. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Malcolm. So we'll have the 5 presentations, and then at the end, you will have a time for question and answer. So please, during the presentations, take notes, and if you want to make to put any question at the end, just write down, just for you not to forget. Okay, Emmanuel, back to you.
Okay.
Okay.
Hello. Bonjour, en français. Claire m'aide à traduire. Les Scouts et Guides de France sont une association catholique, catholique depuis ses origines, et qui ont été fortement influencés au début du XXe siècle par le père Jacques Sevin, qui était un père jésuite.
Hello. Yeah. Hello, everybody. Scouts et Guides de France are Catholic organizations, and they have been Catholic since the beginning. They were influenced by Father Jacques Sevin. He was a Jesuit.
L'autre particularité des Scouts et Guides de France, c'est que c'est une association qui appartient à une fédération dans laquelle il y a 5 associations. Une association qui est laïque, une association qui est juive, une association musulmane, une association protestante et nous, les Scouts et Guides de France, catholiques. Catholique, juive, musulmane, protestante et laïque.
Another particularity of Scouts et Guides de France is that it belongs to a federation that has 5 main religions: the Catholics, Protestants, Jews, Muslims, and the secular people.
J'y reviendrai, mais je pense que cette appartenance à une fédération fait partie des challenges qui attendent notre mouvement pour les années à venir.
And the fact that there are different religions is a kind of challenge for us, and I will come back to it later on.
Alors traditionnellement, les groupes de scoutisme sont rattachés à une paroisse catholique, et dans chacun des groupes, il y a généralement un prêtre qui accompagne un groupe d'unités, donc les unités des branches.
Traditionally, Every unit belongs to a church, and there is one priest that accompanies that federation.
Maintenant, je vais vous donner quelques principes de la pédagogie spirituelle qui est mise en œuvre chez nous.
Here are now some principles of the education that we use.
Le premier, c'est que le quotidien, la vie quotidienne, c'est le matériau de base pour les temps de prière et les célébrations. On a coutume de dire qu'il n'y a pas de vie spirituelle s'il n'y a rien qui a été vécu avec les jeunes.
The daily life is the basics of our method, and we think that we need the daily activities, we need some prayers.
Le principe de la spiritualité scout, c'est d'être toujours le lien entre ce qui est vécu par les enfants et les jeunes au quotidien et la vie spirituelle. Voilà. En fait, le mouvement des scouts et guides de France n'est pas un lieu où on fait du catéchisme, c'est-à-dire que c'est un endroit où on vient pour vivre sa foi en acte au quotidien. Mais ce n'est pas forcément un lieu où il va y avoir un enseignement de ce que c'est que la religion et de ce que c'est la foi.
Spirituality means be the link between the young person and the spiritual life. And we are not there to give religious courses to teach religion to the young people, but they live their religion by belonging to our group.
Deuxième principe, l'expérience spirituelle est évidemment adaptée à chaque tranche d'âge. Et je vais vous donner des exemples.
Secondly, spirituality is of course adapted for each age group, and I will give you some examples.
Bien évidemment, on s'adapte aux caractéristiques des tranches d'âge quand on parle de développement physique, de développement intellectuel. C'est pareil dans le développement spirituel. Et pour vous donner un exemple, pour la tranche d'âge des enfants, des 8-11 ans, on s'appuie principalement sur la tendance et l'intérêt que les enfants ont pour les histoires qu'on raconte.
We always take into account the mental and physical development of the children for the activities, and it's the same for the spiritual aspect. For the children between 8 and 11 years, we take into account their interest for stories.
Donc, par exemple, à cet âge-là, on va privilégier des moments où on va raconter, avec des mots adaptés à cette tranche d'âge, la vie de Jésus. Et c'est à partir de ces éléments-là qu'on pourra faire le lien avec la vie quotidienne.
We, for example, tell them stories with words that are well adapted to their age, and we tell them the life of Jesus so that they can understand it.
Deuxième élément, on va s'appuyer sur leur goût pour le jeu. Et on va leur demander, parce que le but c'est que chaque enfant et chaque jeune puisse cheminer dans sa foi, pour toi, qui est Jésus, à travers ce que tu en entends, à travers les temps qu'on va vivre, les temps spirituels qu'on va vivre avec l'unité, à travers les histoires de l'évangile que tu vas entendre, tu vas mener ton enquête pour savoir qui est Jésus pour toi.
We also take into account the fact that those young children like games, and we ask them, who is Jesus for you? Who is Jesus when we tell you this story? Who is Jesus for you within this unit? And we let them discover the thing by themselves.
Pour les adolescents, on va s'appuyer sur leurs questions existentielles. Ils cherchent le sens de leur vie, parfois ils doutent, ils sont parfois en révolte. Tout ça, c'est présent dans l'Évangile et ça fait partie des sujets qui vont permettre des débats et qui vont permettre aux adolescents de s'engager pour agir en faveur, par exemple, de plus de justice.
For the teenagers, the sense of life is an important question. They have their doubts, they are wondering about what the meaning of life really is, and we use it. We use some examples out of the Bible, and they can debate about justice, for example, in this way.
On s'appuie sur le besoin d'action des adolescents. Ils ont envie d'agir Donc, c'est un levier qui est très puissant pour cette tranche d'âge-là.
We also use the fact that teenagers like to act for the spiritual aspect.
Un deuxième principe que je voudrais développer, c'est celui du couple expérience et relecture.
And another thing that I would like to explain to you is the link between experience and review.
La relecture, c'est une méthode qui est largement influencée par les jésuites. Et comme un des fondateurs du scoutisme catholique est jésuite, on le retrouve dans la pédagogie du scoutisme. Le principe de cette relecture, je vais vous l'expliquer en 3 points.
The review, in fact, comes from a Jesuit method that we also use in scouting today, and I would like to explain it to you in 3 points.
D'abord, ça consiste à en passer en revue tout ce qui s'est passé dans la journée. Qu'est-ce qui s'est passé? Comment moi je me suis sentie et comment je me suis comportée avec les autres?
The first thing is to wonder about what happened during the day. How did I feel?
Cette première étape, on la retrouve dans toute l'éducation, la spiritualité, qu'elle soit religieuse ou pas. C'est assez transversal.
And we find this kind of review back in all aspects of our activities, whether they are spiritual or not.
Ce qui change quand on est dans une association catholique, c'est que dans un deuxième temps, on va rattacher cette expérience à un texte d'évangile que les chefs et cheftaines vont pouvoir proposer aux enfants et aux jeunes pour mettre en perspective ce qu'ils ont vécu par rapport à un texte d'évangile.
The particularity of the Catholic associations is that we use what has been said, we use those experiences by giving a parallel with the biblical text that the leaders propose. They will read this text to the young people and they will try to find some conclusions.
Et la troisième étape, c'est terminer ce temps de relecture par un temps de prière pour se rappeler que Dieu est au milieu de nous, que Dieu nous aime tel que nous sommes et quoi que nous ayons fait, et que Dieu veut mon bonheur et veut cheminer à mes côtés. Et donc en terminant par un temps de prière, on s'adresse à Dieu en le remerciant, en lui demandant pardon ou en lui demandant son aide pour progresser dans tel ou tel domaine.
And the third moment is then the moment of the prayer. It is a reminder that God is among us, that God loves us, whatever we have done, and God only wants us to be happy. So it's a time for us to thank God, maybe to ask for pardon also.
Je pense que, personnellement, que la dimension religieuse permet d'éduquer les enfants et les jeunes à apprivoiser l'intériorité et le silence. Mais c'est une intériorité et un silence qui ne sont pas vides. Parfois, le silence, ça peut faire peur parce qu'on peut croire qu'il n'y a personne. En étant dans une culture catholique où on fait l'expérience que Dieu est là en toute situation, eh bien, ce silence, il est habité et cette intériorité, du coup, elle peut faire moins peur et on peut cheminer progressivement dans l'apprentissage de son intériorité parce qu'on sait qu'on est sous le regard de Dieu.
This enables the youth to learn to like this inner calm. Sometimes it's difficult to like it, and with our activities, we learn them to meditate.
Il me reste qu'1 minute, je suis désolée. Ce qui est important, ce qui peut être important aussi, c'est de prendre conscience de l'aspect communautaire, c'est-à-dire je ne suis pas chrétien tout seul. Dans le reste du monde, il y a d'autres chrétiens, et l'expérience de cette communauté, elle se fait dans le scoutisme, entre autres, par les chants, qui est un aspect essentiel.
Another important aspect is the fact that we all belong to a community and of knowing that there are other Christians in the world. With the spiritual aspect, there is this kind of experience that can be lived through scouting.
Je finis avec 2 challenges. Le premier, c'est de prendre en considération le fait que les jeunes chefs et cheftaines, ils sont de moins en moins pratiquants, ils connaissent de moins en moins la religion catholique et du coup, ils ont peur d'être des personnes qui transmettent cette foi. Ils ont tendance à vouloir le déléguer à des spécialistes que sont les prêtres. L'enjeu pour moi, c'est de leur faire prendre conscience que c'est un axe de développement qui est aussi important que les autres et que même s'ils ne sont pas des spécialistes, ce qui est important pour les jeunes, c'est de connaître leur expérience et que ça ne se délègue pas.
For me, there are two challenges in this. I think that the leaders today are more and more secular, and they don't transmit this faith as it was done before. They think that it is something for specialists. But I think that the religious aspects has to remain something that is important in the Scout movement, even if the leaders are not specialists.
Et le deuxième challenge, c'est qu'on puisse profiter du fait qu'on appartienne à une fédération de différentes religions pour vivre la dimension interreligieuse, qui à mon avis est un challenge parce qu'elle permet d'éviter le repli sur soi et le repli communautaire dans un monde qui a un peu tendance à ça quand il se sent en difficulté. Pour moi, le fait de participer à une fédération est une chance énorme pour chacun dans sa religion d'apprendre à faire grandir sa foi tout en respectant la foi et la religion des autres.
The other challenge is the fact that we have those different religions in our federation. And I think that we should avoid the fact of being only interested in our religion. We should seize the opportunity of those different religions and use this to grow our faith.
Thank you very much. So now we are going back to Martin from Scouts de Argentina.
Hello, everybody. I must apologize because I don't speak English very well, so I tried. Well, scouting in Argentina has more than 100 years. For nearly 60 years, exist in Argentina two organizations, one open association and one single faith-based association, a Catholic association. 17 years ago, these organizations came together and formed Scouts of Argentina. Okay. Yes. Excuse me. Okay. Today, our organization brings together members from 23 different religions. Our association is an open organization, and all religions are welcome to join us. Most of our members are Catholic and from different expressions of Christianity. But there are also many members from Buddhism, Muslims, Jews, and many other religions. In addition, 6 of those religions have signed a contract to support us. Maybe a contract, I don't, if a very well word, an expression. It means a memorandum of understanding. It's okay? It's so more precisely. This agreement is a mutual commitment to religious institutions to support our educational proposal by sponsoring local groups and collaborating with the spiritual formation of the member of his religion. Well, some ideas about our educational proposal. Previous. Thank you. Okay. In Scouts of Argentina, we want to contribute to education of persons that live their faith joyfully, respecting the ones who live or find different religious answers, opening towards understanding, respect and dialogue with the other religions. The design of the Scout program is based on a proposal of objectives for the integral development of the person. One of these areas' objectives is precisely spirituality. For each of the 6 religions who've signed contract with Scouts of Argentina, specific objectives to guide this development were defined. But it's important to note that no area working separately from the others. We look the integral development. Okay, some ideas about the local groups' work. The work of local groups is supported by several teams in the organization. There are teams from youth program, adult child scouting, communications, and so on. And of course, religious teams. There are teams from Catholics, from Muslims, and etc. From the 6 religions that we have signed. We also have a team of inter-religions meeting dedicated to promoting dialogue between members of different religions. There are several teams dedicated to this work, but all work together. Okay, a few ideas about this work. The role of the Scout leader in Scout Argentina is not gives a religious instruction. Is to use the kind of experience offered by the Scouting to help young people discover a spiritual reality and incorporate it into their own lives. The assessment of the Scout promise and law in our life is supported by the reflection of our actions, not by words or speech. Learning by doing, basically. In this way, we give them to young people all the confidence to be able to choose the correct path in their life, the path toward happiness. That's spiritual development for us. Okay, a few challenges. Improve interreligious dialogue. There are many achievements in our associations, but there are also tensions. It's not easily coexist between so diversity of religious diversity. Another challenge, improve teamwork between teams of different religions and between religious teams and other teams in our organization. It's not very easy to work together, but we tried. Improve training of adults. We need leaders who encourage and facilitate a dialogue between different faith meeting. It's a very challenge. That's our association. 17 years is a very few years for this challenge. It's so difficult, but we are a commitment to do. Our actual association, one association, is better that we lived years ago. That when Scout movement in Argentina are 2 different organizations. We love these one associations, even with the problems or with the difficulties. Basically, is the description of our work. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin. So now we are going to have the presentation from Noemi Rutti from Ajeshi.
Okay. Young people are born into a historical period of great social, political, economic, and technological change, and they are by turn the agents, the beneficiaries, and the victims of this change. This is why an area of the joint work between WSEC and WOSM in Europe, the region I came from, is embracing change. What is always the same is young people hope to play an active role in society. They all hope for a better life. And last but not least, they yearn deep down in their heart for happiness. This is what Baden-Powell wishes for each one of us. In fact, in his last message he says, I have had a most happy life, and I want each one of you to have as happy a life too. I believe that God put us in this jolly world to be happy and enjoy life. If we really want to respect our founders' idea and method, we need to be aware of the fact that they created an educational movement, not a leisure or free time movement, with a clear anthropological model of person. His anthropological vision is rooted in the idea of a person who is able to perform his/her duty to God, linked with duty to self, duty to others, the spirit of service, and the pursuit of happiness in life, the whole culminating in an ideal vision of society. Okay, sorry. I need the glasses. I start without, but something I use it. Let us analyze society and the increases to the search for happiness BP is urging us to carry out, that we all need to fight by developing the spiritual dimension in our young people. Postmodernity, the present age where society is ruled by economy, a liquid society, as Bauman said. The main focus of an economy is consumerism, media culture, and society is witnessing fragmentation of authority, no more social role models, relativism and subjectivism, a complex and polycentric culture. The young people experiences different places, family, school, work, the peer group, associations, sports centers, which often offer values and lifestyles that promote the dispersion and break up the individual and the destruction of the self. And communication among human beings have become quick and emotional, TV spot. A critical, good and bad come together, obsessing. You must buy if you want to exist. Life is now style. Virtual relationships tend to substitute real ones because it's impossible to communicate without a common truth to refer to. Which are our tools to counteract these trends and enable young people to become actors and not victims of these trends? That open and faith-based association I like and use. We have our tools, commitment through the promise and law, develop wisdom, progressive self-development and teamwork through the patron system, the spirit of service, wonders of nature leading to higher things, a symbolic language, and spiritual moments. Scouting is not a kind of religion syncretism. Quite the contrary, the world constitution makes it absolutely clear that scouting helps motivate and encourage the faithful of each religion to be real Catholics, real Muslims, real Buddhists, etc. Spiritual development is not religious instruction or an activity in itself, isolated from the others. Our young people are illiterated from a religious point of view. How to announce them the message of religion, a key to their personal happiness, which bait would BP use? We need to find a new language that is able to destroy the barriers of prejudice built around religions. Leaders have a personal responsibility in this. BP wanted them to become their young people's elder brothers. They need to show young people that living values in everyday life is possible and rewarding and leads to real happiness. Faith-based associations have to offer their tools and reaches also to open association. And in this framework, Ajeshi, in this moment, have a pilot project. The pilot project is retelling the faith experiences. Retelling the faith experience is an educational opportunity to enable young people to reread their life experience in order to find its real meaning and through happiness, to enable young people to live the Catholic values daily, to enable young people to make the connection between faith and life. Retelling the faith experience through storytelling system from experience activities are different from experiences, and storytelling is different from retelling. Retelling requires time. Accompanying young people in their spiritual development means enabling them to retell their own life experience. This experience culminates in their becoming aware that life is a path where we commit to serve our neighbor within our community, whose center is God and His love, that give meaning to our lives. How it's done? Reading the Word of God, living a scout experience, interacting with a biblical story, and retelling their own experience. The greatest challenge for leaders was the interaction with the Word of God through meditating, interacting, and sharing the Bible among them and with young people. Reading the Bible required that leaders become familiar with it, meditate upon it before planning the activities to be offered to young people. These activities has to plan so that they would become experiences. This is why the Bible was inserted within the same activities and not at the beginning or at the end. This preparatory work done by the staff and then with young people offers the opportunity to retell the experiences that were lived, interpreting them in light of the Word of God and its value. The Word of God is offered through games, short plays, and symbolism. Was it acquired through training approach, of course, and through educational approach. Through training approach, leaders are asked to change their approach. Let us start back again from the Word of God, and they need to be trained for this. And through educational approach, retelling the faith experience enabled young people to reflect upon and rethink their life experience. It does not finish after an activity. It makes young people protagonists of their own spiritual development. It makes use of all the educational tools of the Scout method. So, Ajeshi, in this moment, just like the titles of propose just a title of a mosaic. The pilot project combines Scout experience, living the encounter with the Word of God, educational passion, and love for young people. We have a meeting for next year for not only the all Catholic association in the world, but all associations, because in the next year is the World Centennial of Catholic Guides and Scouts, and we are organizing a world route in Holy End, and we invite all associations to join to us. It is important, this for the interreligious dialogue that for us is very, very important.
Okay, thank you, Noemi. So now the last presentation is going to be from Mohammed.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, Muhammad. I'm speaking about a point of view of my association. I'm from Egypt. follows the Egyptian Federation for Scouts and Girl Guides. The Egyptian Federation for Scouts and Girl Guides consists of the main association, which have 4 major associations. Girl Guide Association, which follows the WAGs, but is a part from our federation. And the rest of 3 associations: Air Scout Association, Sea Scout Association, and Boy Scout Association. We started scouting since 1940. Next year we have 100 years of scouting. And Egypt is the measurement of the population of Egypt is Muslim, and also we have a Christian, and we have a Christian. We have 3 or 4 like Catholic, Protestant, Orthodox in Egypt, and all of our association or all of our patrol or our scout groups, which already is all the members is in Muslim or Christians. We don't have we don't have a diversity in our troops. The Muslim scouts and the Muslim and the Christian scouts and the Muslim girl guides and the Christian girl guides is already participate in scouting and do all the activity together. We don't have special things for them. When they apply to be a part of scouts as to join the scout group or the scout movement, they should do something. The first, know the scout promise and the scout law. And keep it in heart and say to the leader, and then he accept him. One of the part of our scout law, the scout is a brother for the scout, whichever his religion. So when you accept to be a scout, you are accepted to be for the others, and you have to be a good relation. We have a lot of Christian scout troop, which is especially for the Christians, and they do all their activity in their church, and already they participate the major activity which they can do it in the church, like the specific activity like air activity or sea scout activity, or the other they come to the federation or scout association, whichever they're specific, and do their activity together. We have very, very specific or very intelligent or very good scout patrol like Nile Valley, like Sphinx, like Mary Moros, like Frere, Jesuit, De La Salle, Mardidier, Sacré-Cœur, all of these scout group. And the Frere, Jesuit, De La Salle, Mardidier, Sacré-Cœur is a school, and they have their own scout group. During this school, they have a Muslim and Christian student in this school. If they would like to participate in scouts, okay, they apply as a student, and most of them is a half and half, or Christian and Muslim. Some of our scout group, which belong to the church, have a good relation or have a partnership with the scout group outside Egypt, like in Europe or the United States of America. They already come to us, and our federation, we have a partnership with scout group like in America, like in Italy, like in everywhere. And we need today, this year, to go to have a camping there or something like that, or we receive an invitation. We don't have any problems to send them, and also during the year, they made all the activity for free. When we make the scout progress or scout manual, which all the scouts should follow this one, it have many parts: scout activity, environmental activity, physical activity, and also religion activity. In the part of the religion, we are behind this or follow this as a reference for some people who's really little bit religious. I send my scout group to this person, which have approval. He's a good. I'm a trust. He's a good man who can give it. Whichever he's a Christian or Muslim, just to make sure that these Boy Scouts or these Cub Scouts or the Rover. No, the Rover is for free, but it's for Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts. Then make sure that he already know his religion. If you don't know, we'll send them, please let him know more about his religion. Finally, when they be in a scout group together, if we have some problem during the whole of Egypt or during the country, if they have some conflicting, it's really happened. But in scouts, it never happened, because when he enters the scouts, he should be accept the other, and this is a benefit from our scouts for our faith and beliefs. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mohammed. So now we are going to the second part of the panel discussion that include your participation, your contributions. So we'll receive questions from the participants, and also from the participants online. I don't know at this time if we have someone watching the... Okay, just a minute.
Someone auto suggests that the Argentina Scouts is quite interesting in how they cope with the work with faith and religions, because it's merged in 1996, and it's interesting for them to realize that it's interesting part. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, my name is Håvard. I'm the International Commissioner from Norway, and I was the one who's tweeted. So if you this was more like a statement, because I said what you shared from Argentina was really interesting. And just a question for clarification: are all the religions mixed in one scout group, or are different scout groups? That one scout group has one religion and another has another religion? And how do they work together if you have national events or district events? How do you work with the spirituality on such events? If you could explain some more there, it would be great.
Okay, thank you for your interest. There are existing in Argentina the two models of groups. There are we don't use the term open and closed group. We said homogeneous and heterogeneous. Yes? Yes. Homogeneous is groups generally patrocinated, sponsored by religious institutions, and there are groups, local groups, I say, one single faith based. There are Catholic, Christians, there are Muslims, one. Yes. So another part, there are many groups that are heterogeneous kind of work. In the national events and regional activities, all participate together, but always there are a moment specifically private for the specific religions, ceremonies, activities. There are moments of prayer for each religion, and there are moments for interreligious meeting, interreligious share and reflection. We try that all activities in Argentina preserve moments for live with our own faith and moments for share with others. That's basically the kind of work. Yes? Okay, you're welcome.
Next question.
Hi, Mom. Over there. The situation is particular in my case because, first of all, I'm from Bosnia, And first of all, the Scouts in Bosnia developed from the communistic times of the Communist Party for Youth. Therefore, it was completely secular and there was no interaction with religion whatsoever. That's the one point that makes scouting in Bosnia completely secular. The second part is we have 3 completely equal religions, and for each of those religions are in the constitution of Bosnia. So in order, you can't really be Bosnian, you can only be Bosniak, Serb, or Croat, and each of those determine whether you're Muslim, Christian Catholic, or Christian Orthodox. I don't know how many of you know here, but we've had a conflict, one of the worst conflicts since World War II in a country that's so small, in Bosnia, between those 3 religions. The biggest aim of scouting in Bosnia is to unite those 3 religions without talking about religion. Why? Because the issue is so fresh that it always, always, always engages bad things happening. That is why I think that scouting should be completely secular. And what I want to ask any of you is, don't you think that by creating such an inclusive organization, so exclusive, by inviting religion, this comes from personal experience because I was raised in 2 completely opposite enemy sides of religions, and my parents let me decide what I was going to be, and I decided that I'm going to be completely secular. I'm not a religious person. My mom is a Muslim and my dad's a Christian Orthodox, and I was raised in both values equally. And I feel that the organization that you guys are mentioning is completely foreign to me. I'm not the same scout as you guys are. I don't recognize the organization from your perspective. And I just keep on wondering, while you guys were speaking, whether you're creating an organization that divides youth instead of bringing it together. Because it will, because it does. Religion can do that. And I fear that, that might happen in the future, that it might spark it more.
So Malcolm will answer to this.
Right, thank you very much for that comment, which I think is a very interesting challenge. Now, I think we need to go back to fundamentals. When Lord Baden-Powell started scouting, religion was one of the keystones of scouting. If you look at the scout promise, we have 3 duties: duty to God, duty to self, duty to others. There are a few ways of answering this question. One is to go the whole hog, go the entire way, which is what the Boy Scouts of America have done. So if you do not espouse a particular religion, or if you do not subscribe to their rules, they'll it's thank you very much. And in the States, the issue of homosexuality, for example, went all the way to the Supreme Court. Now, how you deal with it in your own NSO is up to you. However, which is why when I mentioned the challenge of spirituality versus religion, that was the challenge for today. Most NSOs deal with this situation that you have raised by emphasizing spirituality and faith as opposed to religion. Religion, yes, you have rightly pointed out, religion can divide people, but our job as scouts is to make sure that religion does not divide people. Now, in most of our countries, we have a very large, the reality is that in most of our countries, the vast majority of young people and people do espouse some kind of faith. But there is a growing group of young people and other people who do not have religions. So in Singapore, we have tried, and in Malaysia, for example, we have been trying very, very hard to foster inter-religious and intercultural dialogue. I can understand the great difficulty in Bosnia, and it may work, and the solution of keeping scouting there secular may be the answer for you now. But I would, of course, strongly encourage that at least at the group level, at the individual, personal, face-to-face level, to try to encourage young people to continue to talk about their own religion and to find out about someone else's religion. Let me share with you a very interesting story in Tunisia. Now, we all know that in the Middle East, there are issues between the Palestinians and the Israelis. But when I was in Tunisia for the World Scout Conference, I saw the Palestinian Chief Commissioner sitting down having a chat and a cup of coffee with the Israeli Chief Commissioner. That is the power of scouting, and that is how scouting can foster dialogue. I don't have an answer to the position into the situation in Bosnia. I can understand the difficulties that DIF has raised, but let me assure you that if we handle it sensitively, religion or faith should not be something that drives young people away, but rather something that brings people together. Right. I hope that answers your question, or it gives you more challenges. Yes.
Je réponds en français.
Questions? You want to... Okay, so I have to give the...
Je voulais juste apporter l'expérience qu'en France, on est un pays qui est laïque, donc dans lequel on est affirmé dans les principes de la République le fait qu'il n'y a pas de religion affichée et les principes qui ont fait que le pays est devenu laïque dans notre histoire, c'était justement pour qu'il n'y ait pas de guerre de religion, qu'il y ait un respect profond des uns et des autres vis-à-vis des religions des uns et des autres. Je m'arrête pour la traduction.
I wanted to add that France is a secular country, and in the principles of the Republic, there is no official religion as such. So, as we are a country where there are many religions, we learn to respect the other religions.
Et simplement ce que je constate, parce que c'est un débat qui revient très régulièrement dans la société française, qui est qu'est-ce que ça veut dire être un pays laïque? C'est des débats qui enflamment tout le monde. Et on en arrive à une prise de position qui peut être un peu radicale, de dire être laïque, c'est être anti-religieux. Et la question que je me pose, et le challenge qui me semble être celui de notre temps, c'est d'être en mesure de vivre ensemble, quelles que soient les religions des uns et des autres, en voyant la religion aussi comme un aspect de notre culture, un aspect de notre héritage, et qui explique où on en est aujourd'hui et qui permet de trouver les racines d'une société. Et voilà, ce que je voulais simplement dire, c'est que la tentation, entre guillemets, laïque d'un pays, on la vit en France, et que ça ne résout pas tous les problèmes. Voilà.
Secularism is often a topic of debate in France, and this leads to some radical positions. Does secular means that people are anti-religious? I think that it's rather a challenge to live in a country where there are many religions, and religion could be an aspect of culture, of heritage. It could be something that leads us to go back to the origins of our society. So I don't think that secular means that it's a solution as such.
Hello. Good. Thank you for a nice presentation, very inspiring. This is a topic that I think is extremely important because we're in the business of developing young people in order to make a difference in the world, to figure out what kind of difference they want to make. And in order to be empowered people, belief is a central part of the personal development. I'm also from an open organization, and we don't have a language of discussing some of these issues because we don't stick to one particular religion. So we've started out some discussions, and at the academy in Belgium, Scout Academy in the European region, a couple of weeks ago, we had a wonderful sessions trying to figure out could we create a broader language for discussing these issues without taking the origin in religion. And thank you for the academic paper. It provoked me a lot. Being trained as a researcher in qualitative research, I quickly found the paper and read through it, and I don't see the same conclusion as you presented when I read the paper, because for me it was more about the groups they belong to with their explanation rather than spirituality versus religion. And what I also found in the discussions at the academy is, since this is such a difficult and important topic, a lot of us tend to get intellectually lazy. We don't try to find words that go beyond those that we're used to or from the religions that we have. So my question is, how do you think we can develop a language for discussing these issues across all religions, across secular organizations, across different cultures, so we can start discussing them without being lazy and too quickly going into conclusions such as spiritual is bad, religious is good. You see from this very small research project that this is the conclusion, and then we don't have to discuss it. No, we need to discuss it, but we need a language first. So yeah, I hope that you have some ideas on that, and we would really love to discuss.
Okay, thank you very much. Martin, maybe you can, because you have the experience of working with different religions.
Okay, if we understand that the religious diversity is a problem, we are in trouble. We believe that integrate diversity is a good way to achieve this challenge, these goals, because the society is diverse. So the society is diverse, the world is diverse. We looked at in this room. So we need diversity, religious diversity in scouting, to generate positive impacts into the diverse world. If we don't try to integrate diversity, we haven't the tools to generate a positive impact in the diverse world. We believe that because it's so in Argentina we try to work together. That is where we try.
Right. I would like to thank you for raising the point, and in fact, this is exactly the reason why I highlighted that study. That study is actually a very, very specific study on one particular area, and that was one of the, if you remember, I highlighted it as a challenge. And one of the great challenges we have is that you are exactly correct. People come up with little projects and they make conclusions very, very fast. Which is why the point that I was trying to make is that dialogue is very, very important. The specific answer to your question on how do we build a language of dialogue and understanding across religions, the only answer I have comes in 3 words: with great difficulty. But we have to start talking to each other. So thank you very much. You caught exactly the point I wanted to provoke. Thank you.
Okay, Mohammed also wants to.
From my experience in my country, we have many conflicts because, as maybe in Bosnia, like my colleague said, it's we have only 2 diversity: Muslim and Christian. Sometimes in some small countries and some villages, maybe some have some conflicts between the 2 religions. The best solution for this, in the point of view of our governmental, is the scouts. They make many scouts troop in this governorate to accept the boys and small girls in a small level and a micro level. When they come together, they play together, and they need a good leader, understanding how we can deal with the conflicts, how we can make many coexistence, how we teach them as tolerance. After 5 or 6 or 7 years, as a short term, we have an excellent result. The boys now become bigger, living together, stay together, went to the university together, went to all the activity together, living together, sharing all the life together, share some business together now. This is scouts, they can find the solution. But we need the good leaders, we need good understanding for the scout law and scout laws.
And I add to this that maybe this is the moment that the Scoutism can do the difference into the society through the education of our youth into interreligious dialogue, because in every country we have a lot of religious inside. So we can do the difference through education, through the dialogue, and through to understand the others.
Okay, thank you, Naomi. Any question for our distinguished guests?
I'm used to standing on the green dot. My name's Ross. I'm from Scouts Australia, and I am a spiritual development leader for one of the states. I think we've had a good overview of what a lot of the different associations and countries do. But my question is, what can we do now after tonight to move forward in allowing the sharing of the knowledge that you've got to other associations and NSOs that want to use some of the tools and experiences you've gained that can be used elsewhere in other parts of the world? You know, do we need to open more dialogue through forums online, or do we need to look at more opportunities to meet or cultural share or things like that? Because I want to see how, I think my main aim is we want to try and move forward to see what we can do for the future rather than try and use the conflicts of the past to ground us down.
And can you give some thoughts?
I was hoping the panel might sort of provide sort of that. Otherwise, I could answer the question for you.
Okay, so David will help us.
I would rather not do this online, but never mind. I think that World Scouting has tried through its interreligious dialogue and there's various symposiums that are available. The next one is around about the time of the birthday of the founder, 22nd, 23rd of February. And I think that that's where the religions can express themselves. I'm very interested with those who are looking at cross-religion dialogue, because I think that it's very comforting to be in your own faith community. It's very comforting to be able to acknowledge your faith with your fellow believers. However, I think it's more challenging to say, actually, we're a world organization and we have multiple faiths and we each recognize the other. And I think that element in terms of things like the activities that we do at jamborees where young people can go back and say, I had this wonderful workshop and I met a Muslim for the first time and I know exactly what his religion is about and how he is expressing that. And likewise, our Catholic friends can also say, and this is how I express my faith. And I think those are positive ways in which young people are expressing their spirituality. And I think that commonality of purpose through scouting and guiding is very important. I think that we should not be ground down by things that are negative. And I know the situation in Bosnia, but I think that we need to look at the positives of how people working together can do better things. And I think that therefore it's not just about religion. It's actually about how we work together, how we as scouts work together in small teams and how we respect each other. And I think it's that mutual respect that I would say is the beginning of the dialogue. And then you can deal with the more complex things. I come from Northern Ireland. 3,000 people died in Northern Ireland because Catholics and Protestants couldn't get on together. And it frightens me that could continue. It should not continue. And that sorry, this is quite emotional for me because we were able to break down barriers. Part of the peace process in Northern Ireland was caused because Scouts were doing things together. There were tripartite 3 associations in Ireland: the Catholic Boy Scouts of Ireland, the Scout Association of Ireland, and the Scout Association in the UK. And we did things together. We broke down those barriers. We cut across the political things and the things that actually people were killing each other about. And we were able to make a real difference. So scouting and guiding can do that. But we do it from mutual respect, and we do it without saying any one religion has the one truth. I think I've said enough.
That's David. Malcolm, you want to add something? No? Okay. So we are just running out of time. Do we have any question more from the online participants? No? Okay. One last question from you? One contribution, one comment? Okay. Thank you very much. You have one comment. Okay, so Mohammed?
In 1995 and 1996, 1998, was established a program, or it was a program with World Scout Peru and UNICEF. It was called Bridge of Culture Camp. Bridge of Culture, it's inviting scouts from association, Catholic, Muslim, and Jewish, and gathering together every year in somewhere in Spain, and somewhere in Italy, and somewhere in 3 times in Spain and 1 time in Italy. It was wonderful because when they come back to Egypt, as Mr. David said, I met a wonderful Jewish guy. It's the first time Muslim people can, we know all what we know about Jewish, so some people we fight them. But when we meet there, they come back to Egypt, they say, oh, it's incredible. It's nice people, it's lovely people, it's, it's the same like in Christian and the same like it's a conflict. But during this time wasn't Bosnia but it was in Slovenia. It's the last time in 1998 with us. But now we can make another project like this during this next 10 years. It can do something like for better, coordination between the 3 culture or what our culture is.
Okay. Thank you very much. Let me just add as a personal experience, the best camp that I have in terms of personal development was a camp that was a joint camp between AJDE and UNICEF, the Three Cultures Camp. It was at the beginning of, or at the end of the 90s. And I should say that the experience of putting together young people from different generations has a tremendous impact on their own lives. More than just sometimes just to say to them what they need to know, it's to give them the opportunity to experience. And it's linked what Mohammed was saying also. They could have learned a lot of things by reading, but completely different interiorization by experience that the other one has the same scout law, has the same principles, the same values. So the experience makes a huge impact on the young people's life in the spiritual development. So just as a conclusion, just give you 2 examples of some literature or some books that you can, some documents that you can use. We have the guidelines on spiritual and religious development from WSEC. Is to support the associations in developing the spiritual aspects of their elements. And the other one is scouting and spiritual development also. So it's a very good document to see what's the religious and spiritual world of today youth, how youth are facing spirituality and religion. And it gives also a good review on how this topic has been discussed throughout times in WSEC, and give you also some inputs for the future. How would be the impact in the Scout movement with all the challenge that we seen that society today are giving it to our young people. So to end, just thank you very much for your presence, for your contributions. It was very useful to have all your experience with your associations. Thank you very much for you to participate, the people that were watching, and thank you all the technical support also. Thank you.
Before you leave, could you please
give the evaluation
yep.
form, please.
Please write the name of the session and put it into the mailbox, and take a badge from my personal collection. Take one, don't take the whole bag. Right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, because about